said, he called me. Okay.
You don't know what happened. You know what the facts are.
Okay, we need to vote on that.
The one guy that you wouldn't.
I agree. That's the one guy you don't want to. You put him on the
Just only when you're
human
fine.
patients list. You just, I don't know. But that's what I said. You never know how he's impacted his health right now.
I represent a lot of people who state that prescription medication
Ready?
I agree. Okay.
and then they need a lawyer.
Good evening. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting for December 11th. The time is 7:31. Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Bliss,
I'm here.
Councilman Fleming,
Here.
Councilman Muir,
Here.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Here.
Councilman Soltis, Councilor Wright,
Here.
Mayor Gray.
I am here. The invocation and pledge of allegiance this evening will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Bliss. I invite you to stand if you would like.
All right. Since it is the December meeting and the holiday season, I wanted to take this time to do something that I've always wanted to do, which is quote David Bowie in one of my dad's favorite Christmas songs from 1977. Very relevant today. Peace on earth, can it be? Years from now, perhaps we'll see. See the day of glory, see the day when men of goodwill live in peace again. I pray my wish will come true for my child and your child too. You'll see the day of glory, see the day when men of goodwill live in peace again. Peace on earth, can it be?
Right. Thank you. First up, we have approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions this evening? All right. Seeing none, we are going to move on to meeting open to the public. This is when the Oh, okay. So actually, we do have one change, and that was on number 3 for the consent agenda. We've got the regular council meetings for November 11th, and that should actually be the 27th. Can I get a motion to make that change, please?
Your Honor,
Yes,
I so moved.
thank you. All right, can I support?
Your Honor.
Yep.
Support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. All right, motion carries, so the change has been made, and we will be looking to approve the minutes from November 27th. And are there any other additions or deletions? All right. Seeing none, I'm going to open the meeting to the public. This is the opportunity for the public to speak to council. Ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes, and with that, the floor is open.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, distinguished members of the council, and professional staff. My name is Andy Meisner, and I live in Huntington Woods. I had the privilege of representing this community and others at the county, and now wear another hat as CEO of only the second new bank in Michigan in the last dozen years. It's called Community Unity Bank, or the CUB, and our focus is on small business lending. Small businesses in the area, sometimes have trouble getting loans in the, say 100,000, 200,000. Sometimes some of the larger institutions are interested in the larger deals. And so we got our charter approved in part to try to meet that need. I brought a top 5 list because my real purpose here is to share some financial management tips that we think are helpful to, kind of smart financial management. So, number 5, make sure you place your deposits at a depository that is insured by the FDIC. There was a number of bank failures this year, and you want to make sure that your institution has got FDIC insurance so that you don't lose any of your hard-earned money. Number 4, according to a local FBI expert, check fraud is on the rise and has been found right here in Oakland County. So if you are still in the practice of writing checks, this FBI official suggested that you do so with a gel pen. The gel pens are harder to mess with than a ballpoint. Number 3, it's annoying, but always use multi-part authentication. You know, that deal where you gotta sign in and then get a text or an email. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's worth it. 2, use a password with numbers, letters, upper and lowercase ideally, and symbols. It makes it harder for the bad guys to catch it. And the number 1 thing to do for financial wellness in 2024, don't open or click on any emails or texts that come from people you don't know, or it could even come from somebody that you do know, but it is different. There could be just one letter off. And so, part of financial wellness is being, kind of having peace of mind. And in this era of fraud and kind of cyber attacks, these are a couple things to kind of keep in mind. I would just close in offering my condolences on the passing of Gary McGilvery, and thanking him for his commitment to this community over many years. With that, I thank the council and appreciate your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak this evening? All right, then I am going to close public comment, and we are going to move to the consent agenda. So we have 2 items. We have from the city clerk the 2024 council meeting calendar, and then we have the city council regular meeting minutes of November 27th. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
Your Honor,
Yes.
motion to approve?
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, just a clarification from the city staff. This meeting calendar, there is the potential for change down the road, should anything happen or it need to be moved based on the approval of, was it question 6, 5? There's flexibility, though, after we do this?
City council always has the
Yes.
option to cancel or have a special meeting or change it, especially now that we have some flexibility.
Basically, the change from last year to going forward is that if we need to have only 1 meeting in a month, we have the flexibility to change that. Are there any other questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. And then first communications, we have the Elected Officials Compensation Commission, the salary order resolution.
At the Elected Officials Compensation Commission that was held on December the 4th, the commission authorized a salary order that provides for a 4% salary increase for the mayor and council and mayor pro tem, effective January 10th of 2024, and a 2% increase effective January 1st, 2025. The appropriate city council action would be for council to receive and file the salary order with the city clerk, which would implement the commission's order effective 30 days from the date of filing, or to reject the salary order in whole or in part, which requires 2/3 supermajority vote.
All right, what is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that council receives and file the salary order.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Actually, I just had a question just for clarification. So how often does this board meet? And
Sure.
what-
This board meets every 2 years when we have an election. And so this is it. It sets what the 2-year term, so this is the 35th council. So this sets the salary for the 35th council. 2 years ago, exact same board, had same meeting, and set the salary for the 34th council,
Okay, so they won't meet again for 2 years.
another 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Any other questions, clarifications? All right. No. Okay. Those in favor, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Next up, we have reports. First one from the city manager, the policy for city council personal electronic device stipend.
So it's been a longstanding practice that city council would receive a laptop from the city. However, with the developments in technology, several council members now use their own devices. Since agendas, minutes, and special city council portal are all hosted over the internet, which is a change from when everyone first got laptops, we no longer need the mayor and city council to be connected to the city network. Therefore, starting with this election cycle, the ITAC and staff recommend eliminating the city-issued laptops for elected officials in lieu of an electronic stipend of $500 an election cycle. This would be in addition to the internet stipend elected officials receive annually in November. The current laptops would be turned back in for the $500 stipend to start taking place. And I will say, I kind of mentioned it, but ITAC approved this unanimously at their last meeting as a best practice.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion from council to approve?
Your Honor,
Yes,
so moved.
thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Yes,
support.
thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
just really quick from ITAC, not only is this going to be a savings to the city because IT is not going to have to spend time and effort supporting those devices, but it's also a security risk because each of us are part-time and those laptops sit dormant for much of the time. That is an access point into our network. So ITAC not only suggested this unanimously for cost and, you know, the implementation aspect of it, but there's also a huge cybersecurity aspect as well.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. And then from the police chief, the mental health co-responder team interlocal agreement.
So over the last several months, staff has worked to develop partnerships with the Oakland Community Health Network, OCHN, the city of Ferndale, Hazel Park, and Royal Oak to create a co-responder program. Under this program, mental health clinicians will work across all 4 communities by co-responding with police to calls for service. This would mean proactively following up with people and families, establishing improved communication lines with hospitals, courts, and jails, and providing proactive education to community members. The initial cost of starting this program is roughly $245,000 with an annual reoccurring cost of approximately $240,000. This includes salary and wages for 2 clinicians, vehicle reimbursements, radio, computer, and cell phone. The cost will be shared among the 4 communities with the initial cost estimated to be $61,250 to Madison Heights and an annual reoccurring cost of $60,000. All 4 communities have been advocating grant funding for Oakland County, and I'm happy to say that last Thursday, December the 7th, Oakland County approved $1 million for OCHN, which would fund the first year of our program. All indications, this was outdated a bit. As always, it is our intention to utilize all grant money when it becomes available before using city resources. The city does have opioid funding that will be used to sustain this program the following year. So that's one of the requirements of the Oakland County grant is the city has to commit to sustain the program. If you decide to approve it, a budget amendment would be needed for 1/2 of this year. That would be January and June for approximately $30,625. Future expenditures of the program will be submitted in the annual budget for consideration. And keep in mind, if we get the grant, we won't be spending the $30,000, hopefully, but the timing of the grant is still yet to be determined. Staff recommends that the approval of the Mental Health Co-Response Team Interlocal Agreement establishing a partnership with Ferndale, Hazel Park, Royal Oak, and Oakland Community Health Network be approved, and contract 2 full-time mental health clinicians to work in our 4 communities. We have a representative here tonight, Siri from Oakland Community Health Network, if you would like to ask her any questions about the program. There is a program identical to the one we're establishing here already in Auburn Hills, Bloomfield, and Birmingham. And Bloomfield, no, that's it.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the mental health co-responder team interlocal agreement establishing a partnership with the city of Ferndale, city of Hazel Park, city of Royal Oak, and the Oakland County Community Health Network, and contract full-time mental health clinicians to work within the 4 communities. I also would like to include in that motion the amendment of the budget to the amount stated by the city manager.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor.
Do we need to do 2 motions?
I'll have to do 2, but it has to be approved by a supermajority, so
All right.
5 votes would be required.
All right, Mr. Sherman, were you going to say that?
I was going to say that the second part of the motion regarding the budget amendment requires 5 votes. Approval of the agreement requires 4 votes.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
I will support.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I think that this is like, I just like to say, this is a fantastic first step for our community, and we all agree and can see that, but I hope it's not just the first step, and we just commit to taking more and more steps further in this process and working closer with our partners to where we can have our own co-responders, and that they're an active part of the police department and helping to save with future budget considerations and helping save some lives and members of our community to move ahead.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo that sentiment. I think this is incredible for the city when we talked about it at strategic planning. I likened it to how we brought back our SIU in phases. You know, the first thing we did was to join a task force. And, you know, that gave us kind of part-time access into SIU type of, I guess tactics would be the way to look at it. But this, to me, is a first step. I think because nearly every time we respond to some sort of criminal activity, there is generally an underlying mental health issue at play. I think this is critically important, and I think Councilor Wright is correct. I think it can only lead to this program, A, being successful, and then B, growing to where we have our own. So I'd fully support that as this gets developed as, I think, kind of a phase one. I can't wait to look back on this years from now, and it was the start of something pretty great for our department.
All right, thank you. Is there
Your
any
Honor.
other?
Real quick, can I ask you a question? The communities that already have this in place, there is a, like you've seen good results from it. Can you just tell us about like the lower recidivism and things like that and how that has impacted those communities?
So in our original communities, we've had this in place since August of 2021. So we're still tracking a lot of the initial data as it relates to repeat calls, because that's just overall the goal, that we want to repeat the calls, that we want to reduce the repeat calls so the police can spend time in the community where they're really needed, and we can address the concerns around mental health. So that is still something that we're tracking. But in regards to data, we are looking at a variety of different outcomes. And I just have a couple percentages here. So since August of 2021, between the 4 co-responders that we have in place, we have serviced 2,826 individuals. Those are the individuals that were called upon by the police. So there's obviously additional people usually around, family members, kids, neighbors, that might benefit from that too. So those are not captured in these numbers. Out of these almost 3,000 individuals, about 52% of individuals have remained in the community, meaning we were able to de-escalate, refer to care, community-based services, those kind of things. About 39% of individuals were transported to your local emergency room or your crisis center because they needed what we consider a higher level of care. And then only about 2.5% of individuals were arrested.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
Your Honor?
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Of course.
So this is for adults, correct?
No, it's for everybody, regardless of age.
Okay. And so do you see, you record, let's say if we break it in between adults and children, is there one that has more of a need than the adults, or vice versa?
And I apologize, I missed the end a little bit. Is the
I'm
need
sorry.
different?
So, I was just wondering which one had the greater, the need.
And I don't have those exact numbers in front of me, but we do service more adults than children. I believe out of this numbers, I had just pulled the numbers, we service about 500 kids. So, and that's usually because parents might have concerns because kids are acting out in the home. Perhaps they're becoming aggressive, maybe they ran away. Those kind of situations, potential incorrigibility. domestic violence we see between family members and children, but overall, the greater percentage is adults.
One last question. Do you guys work with Care House?
We can refer over, but I'm not familiar. I would have to look back about any contracts in that sense, but if there's a need for that, we would definitely utilize them.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? All right, thank you. Okay, seeing no questions or any further discussion, and just a reminder that in order for the budget portion to pass, we do need to pass this with a vote of 5. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries 7-0. And then from the police chief, we've got the purchase of police tasers.
Our current tasers are past their useful life and beyond the warranty period, and we are utilizing outdated technology. New equipment is now under subscription service with a sole source provider, Axon. Under this agreement, the city police department would receive tasers and instructor training. The current budget includes $18,000 for taser expense. However, this new subscription service is $130,420, payable in annual payments of $26,084. Risk avoidance grants are going to be available to offset this in the first year, both for the instructor training and the actual tasers themselves. I would like to note that this is an ongoing, beyond the 5 years, this is going to continue. The first contract is just the 5 years. So it's a subscription service that we basically would be signing up for to keep our technology up to date. So staff recommends that City Council approve a motion to purchase 20 TASER 10 models. This would include the training and equipment for a total of $130,420, payable over 5 years to Axon Enterprises, the sole source provider for this type of technology.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the request. Sorry, I lost my place.
As stated by the city manager.
As stated by the city manager, yes, like you
Thank you.
said.
Is there support?
Your Honor, I will support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I did have a question, and I didn't get this until the city manager said it, so forgive me if I'm trying to form my question as I'm speaking. But, so it's basically a lease of the equipment. Is that correct? So over the 5 years, we're paying $23,000 or $26,000 a year. Over 5 years, if after 5 years, like a taser, loses a fuse or something, do we get a replacement? Are there things in there for that? Is it like my, AT&T Next phone, I get a new one every 5 years, or how does that work?
So you would get it replaced, but I'll defer to Brent if he knows the answer. What happens at the end of the 5 years if we decide we can't afford the 130? Do we just keep the current tasers and then we use them like we currently do? So it is a straight
It
up
is basically a
program.
lease. Okay.
It's a lease. Okay.
Your Honor.
Any other questions?
I just have a question. Does having more up-to-date equipment have an impact on our accreditation for the department? And, okay.
So it reduces the city liability. I know Brent said this at the strategic planning, but for anybody who might be listening, it allows our police officers to interact, for lack of a better word, at a further distance. And it also has 10 prongs, so 10 opportunities instead of just one. So anytime you can utilize tasers is a better opportunity for the police officer and also the person to avoid any other types of confrontation. So it definitely reduces our liability, and our liability insurance company is who issues the risk avoidance grants. So there are 2 grants to help implement this technology, one for the actual tasers and one for the training, because they see it as an opportunity to reduce future confrontation and liability on the department.
That's outstanding. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries, and that is it for our regular business, so I am going to invite closing comments, starting with Mr. Muir.
Thank you. I'll keep it brief. I just want to wish everybody happy holidays if you celebrate. A lot of good holidays coming up the month of December here to close out the year. If you're struggling with the holidays, please reach out to Common Ground or one of those type agencies. I actually referred a friend there yesterday, and thankfully she is being taken care of. Have a safe and happy new year, and we'll see you in 2024. Thanks.
Thank you. Pro Tem Bliss?
Yes, Your Honor. Three things really quick. First, I'm thankful to my peers up here on council. Last meeting, I had to go out of town urgently the night before the meeting and missed the tree lighting and the dedication and for the new bandstand. And so I was kind of devastated about having to miss that, but I truly appreciate each of you adding a little bit of extra energy and standing in for me. So thank you so much for that. Second, I want to wish my daughter a happy birthday. We had a happy birthday dinner right before the meeting tonight. And I promised her I would give her a shout out on the podium. I think she thinks more people watch this than do. But, you know, she'll catch it on YouTube. So happy birthday, Ariel. And I also want to wish those who are celebrating a happy Hanukkah, those who will celebrate a Merry Christmas. And I hope this new year brings with it a lot of positivity, joy, and lower prices at the grocery store.
All right, thank you. Counselor Wright?
I love Texas Roadhouse, and that's a random thing to say, unless it's accompanied with go out there and eat tomorrow to support the Madison Heights Youth Assistance. If every meal you buy, I think 10% goes to them, or they get a portion of the proceeds. So I enjoy the rolls there. I'm not going to lie to you, but if you're looking for a place to eat tomorrow, go to Texas Roadhouse. Enjoy it. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, and all the above. Happy New Year.
Mr. Sherman?
Just one comment, Your Honor. Happy holidays to everybody, and go blue.
Mrs. Marsh?
Just echo the sentiments of happy holidays.
Thank you. Mr. Brotman?
Happy holidays to everybody as well. Thank you.
Mr. Orbach?
Happy holidays, and I hope anybody who's celebrating Festivus is victorious in their feats of strength.
Thank you. Councilman Fleming?
Yeah, I want to say that happy holidays to everybody also, and if you have the chance, you go down to downtown Detroit, they have for Kwanzaa, they have a large Canera, which is basically like a candle opera, that's what they call it, a Canera, and it's the largest one in the United States, so it's pretty exciting to see it. The last year was the first year, and we'll be back again, so hopefully everybody has safe travels. I also want to say that I'm happy that we, at this meeting, made some great strides here with some de-escalation for approving the tasers for less than lethal force for situations that we have to use force for the police, and also the approval of the mental health for Oakland County Community Health. I think those two issues are going to help the community quite a bit. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Soltis?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, happy holidays and Go Lions.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Bliss, just so you know, while you were not here, the stage was very crowded when we were greeting Santa. And I said, well, next year maybe we'll greet him at the bandstand. So hopefully we'll be able to use that stage a lot before that, but definitely if Santa graces us with his presence next year, we'll be able to greet him with that. Just want to take a moment to give a shout out to my mother. Last week, she was recognized for founding the Manic Depressive Association of Toronto 38 years ago. This was before the internet, before social media, when everything had to be done over the phone or in person or by snail mail. My dad was diagnosed as being manic depressive, which is what they called it back then. Now it's called bipolar, and there was no support. There were nothing out there. She was pretty much on her own, and when she did this, she had people coming, driving hours to come in to go to the very first meeting that she hosted. So I think it was really fitting that we've got this co-responder now, because times have really, really changed. So I want to thank everybody on council for approving that. It just takes us one step closer to bringing the needed resources to our community. Our police officers are great, our firefighters are great, but this is not and should not be their job. So anything we can do to support them and to support our residents, all in favor of that. Want to wish everybody celebrating Hanukkah happy 5th day, and everybody who is going to be celebrating Christmas, Kwanzaa, and other holidays, happy holidays to you, and to all of our residents, to our staff, and to everybody on council. I wish you all a safe and healthy new year. Our meeting is about to adjourn, but when is our next meeting? We are done for the year, and we will be back here on January 8th. So the time is 8 o'clock, and this meeting is adjourned. Good night. Yeah, that is for you. Do I need to initial, like, kind of screw that up?